Hey, this is Gareth Hines again. I want to talk some more about the process of creating the art for my Graceling graphic novel. So I used a lot of different tools. On the iPad, I used Clip Studio, which I used primarily for the vector capabilities that it has and also the rulers. Those curved motion lines that you see there were created with the radial curve ruler. It also lets me scale the art like I'm doing right here with Katsa's face. I also used Procreate on the iPad, which is what I'm using here, which gave me a little more control over the brushes that I was using. And then I would combine these elements into Photoshop, and I would also draw in Photoshop using my Cintiq on my desktop computer. So that's what I'm doing here, doing a little bit of cleanup and background work on top. And then there were also panels where I wanted to mainly just use watercolor. And so for that, I would print out the rough sketch on the back of a piece of watercolor paper. I would tape that onto my board, and then I would turn on the light so that I could see the line work, and I would just start painting. And so, for example, this third panel, basically any panel where I wanted to zoom way out, I decided would be primarily watercolor. So that's what I'm doing. I'm painting in all of the forest around these characters and all the people that Katsa and Po just fought. And then Katsa and Po will be the only ones who actually have line work on them. Everything else will just be watercolor. And then, as I mentioned before, most of the panels just have this gray watercolor painting of just the shadows on them. So there you go. You've got your watercolor, you've got your flat color combined with watercolor, painted some extra leaves on there, and then added the borders digitally. Now, there were some panels where I wanted to actually paint with ink. To do the line work traditionally using a brush pen or a brush with ink. And that was because for the close-ups, I really wanted the line to get bigger, but I wanted it to, to get bigger in a way that looked more analog and less digital. So for those panels, I actually taped pieces of paper on my Cintiq to use it as a light table, which is not really recommended. And then I painted those with a brush, scanned them, brought them back in, dropped them into that panel, and then there you have the rough sketch, the ink, the watercolor layer, the flat color, the watercolor and the flat color combined, additional leaves and effects, panel borders, and speech balloons. And I actually decided not to drop the text on here for this video because there's a couple of spoilers in the text. All right, so again, this is Gareth Hines, Graceling, the graphic novel, coming November 16th, 2021 from HarperCollins Children's Books. Thank you for watching.